we want to partake as beautiful people inside of us want to connect to the energy of the teachings here today that will come from your ancestors. Was to acknowledge Treaty 6 and Treaty 7 territory that we're in. Was to acknowledge the ancestors that are walking with us today in the unseen, four-legged, two-legged. On behalf of Red Deer Aboriginal Dance Troupe, I asked you, John and Marcia, to come and help us. I never grew up this way. I'm learning and will be a student for the rest of my life to learn. And I'm humbled by that. Atik Napio, the tree man, is my spirit name, was given by my late father, Kiewiten. He's passed on now, but I invite them here. I want to offer this stemao and this ribbon and this seagrass to both of you, and this, to represent the gathering of knowledge and wisdom that maybe we would have never heard. You know, we're not promised tomorrow. But you come here with your gifts to share with us from your heart and soul and your spirit, your gisak. I thank your great-great-grandfathers and great-great-grandmothers that you came with, and that we'll be blessed with protection of this COVID, the safe and health of this COVID, and that you'll go home in a good way. And I speak on behalf of the committee of Regional Aboriginal Dance Troupe. Corky's our elder on there, and we've got all our committee, all the committee today. I speak on their behalf also to this, to bring this this teaching forward that we want. I thank Heritage Family Services for bringing their tipi over to help us. Miigwap. Also present Stimau to the Kelly, who cooked that beautiful food for us today. You know, hey, Niasin. For that, I want to thank. So I'm going to leave that up there. I've got to do this distancing now. Usually I'd come right up to you, you know, and present that. But I'll leave this for you, Marcia, and this stemao, the sweetgrass, and pick this year, this sweetgrass. So we'll leave it on behalf of Red Deer Aboriginal. Marissa, do you want to say anything to this? Good. And
No, I'm just grateful that you're here. We're open to learning all we could from you. In this area, you know, it's kind of sometimes hard to find those knowledge keepers on certain areas. So we're really grateful that you're here to share some knowledge with us. So hi, thank you, Nanaskum.
Uh, Go ahead. Yeah, thank you. Hey. So let's do the introduction. My name's John Crier. I'm from Musquetees, Nehio, Nia. I'm a Cree man, and this is where my teachings come from. I come from my Muslims and my Kofoms and all the people of Musquetees that I have heard and understood the way that I have understood. And so, thank you for inviting me, for having us. And thank you for the stew and the bannock. Hi. Eh,
My name is Patrick. I'm from Loon Lake, Saskatchewan,
hmm,
Treaty 6, and I live in Sylvan Lake now, and it's good to be here with you guys.
hmm, mhm.
Bill, 1934, signed in 1874, known as the Tortoise Treaty. The father's from Valley River, and the mother's from Yellowstone.
Mm. Yeah.
Just Nabi from over there. Grateful to be here today. Yeah, just got some beautiful kids here, and great to be in this community. And been really struggling with this COVID thing. I don't know about you all. It's like a haunting thing for me. But, I guess precautions. I guess I have to respect them. To respect that energy and try and stay in the positive. I want to get out there and I want to have ceremony. We still can do it, I guess, and use precautions 6 feet apart, I guess, and do our best with that. Health and safety to you all. no friend then, his brother. He stopped the van with kind of at the bottom of the mountain. He said, does the boy have a name? And he said, no, I don't have a name. And he prayed me free. And my grandfather said, his name is Thunder is Coming. And he stopped crying. Yeah. So, that's how strong I believe our ceremonies are. Our ceremonies are so we are they know about us a long time already. And I just tell that story. I love my son a lot. Remember those stories.
My name is Marissa, and I am from Saskatchewan, but I make my home in Golden Lake. I'm the program coordinator for the industry, and I'm just doing all of the stuff. So hard for I think to travel, and the risk is so high. And we're just so thankful that this group here is here today. Heard so many things about you and your life, Mom, and they're all wonderful, and we're so excited to be able to finally get a day and finally meet you both. So thank you so much.
Marcia, Marcia, a big child. We did her coming of age ceremony.
My name is Marcia Crier. John and I have been married for 47 years, and we have 6 adult children and 14 grandchildren. We just had a newborn on November 6th. I'm very blessed to have such a rich family. I'm originally from Northwest Coast, British Columbia, north of Paris. I'm a Mishpat from Orleans, New Orleans. I was raised my 2 years in a residential school in St. Albert, so, and I kind of stayed on here to finish my education and kind of got snagged in Montessori. I have had some friends from Stanton that used to take me home on weekends. So. I'm just blessed to be here, kind of missing ceremonies. We do a lot at home still, one-on-one with youth. I work in a high school, and it's really difficult with the at-home learners. And I'm the homeschool liaison and social worker that delivers homeschool packages and picks them up. And you hear it in their voices. They miss that socializing. A lot of things going on behind closed doors that we don't know. It's sad. So hopefully this is a ceremony to me. Hopefully this will help some of our community heal. A lot of prayers for them. So I'm honored to be amongst you guys. I am.
That's your mic, man.
Okay. When I was talking about the teepee, most teepees face south, and because in our teaching is that when we arrive here, we come from the south, and then when we leave, we go back. That's the direction that we go back. And so the you know part of that also is that there's a story of how we came to be, of human beings with the spirit. A long time ago, there were the you know the spirit beings, came into this world, and in a form of a bear, and so they mated with one of our grandmothers, and so when that happened, then our spirit came to be in our with us, and so um, there's a song that says that I am an orphan bear. You know, am I an and so sometimes the question is, am I a bear in a human form? And so and so in other words, I'm a spiritual being in a human form, and so that's part of the teaching. And the reason why we say I'm an orphan bear is because that union that happened a long time ago, the spirit beings, left. They went back, and so what they left was us. And so there's a lot of things that they left with us, that we find them in the stories and also in the songs, how to survive this askew matson, this earth life, how to survive it, and so there's a lot of teachings in there, in the stories and also in the songs that tells us how to survive it, which is very important that we remember these stories, we remember these songs, we remember, the teachings, because they contain, the ways of survival. We didn't write things, there were, we didn't record these things, but they were kept in the stories, and so this time of the year, when the snow is here, we say Atayokyon. It's a time of creating that story, telling about those events that happened a long time ago. And so, and then telling those events a long time ago came in a form of stories that young children could remember. They could, they were told in a way that it just, excited the imagination of young people. At least that, it did for me. And I remembered those stories. Now, those same stories, when I go back, they contain teachings in there. In there, they contain teachings of how that we are to survive here. And so, which is why, it's so important. Like, to even if you have a chance, there are some books that have recorded these stories. Read about those stories, or listen to someone who is telling a story. Learn those stories, because those are our, in a way, those are our instructions of how to survive in this land. How to survive. And so the so when I was talking about the teepee, it always faces south, except in certain circumstances. But normally, people feel most comfortable when when the door of the teepee is facing south. The sweat lodge ceremony is facing south. All the other ceremonial lodges, the doorway is always in the south. And so in the teaching, your name, the last part of that is ah cha, ah cha. We usually refer to that and say that's the name of our spirit, but it's not. In our language, we have very, in the English way, we have very little nouns, you know, name of things. Most of the things that we call, names are about an event that happened. So your name is about an event that happened. Ah, cha. So what it means is that we have, that when we refer to our spirit as saying ah cha, is that we were brought from one place to another. So in other words, we were here We have an origin. We were brought here. Same with the Anishinaabe. That name means that they're just like they were placed on a cradle and they were lowered down, in each niche, you know, in to here, you know. So these stories, are tells us about our origin. Our origin really is a creator, the creator energy, and so when we say that, it's because part of our energy comes from the creator, you know and so that was one of the gifts that was given to us. So in other words, when we say no tawi, my father is the creator. I am the son of the creator. I am My energy comes from the creator. And so when we sing these songs, when we tell these stories, just one particular story, that I tell about is that we were taught. And then when we do fasts, when we do fast for a length of time, you know we begin to see the truth. If we're having struggles in our life and we fast, you know the way it usually works is that you usually begin to see the truth of that struggle towards the end. It begins to become revealed to you. You begin to see it. You begin to see the truth of your own truth, of how you're participating in that struggle. you know and so part of that teaching is that because we have that energy with us, is that we were given we were given the ability to create our own life. you know we were given that ability, but sometimes we forget that. We especially in today, you know we go look somewhere, to create our life. We go ask assistance, but we never think. Sometimes we hardly ever think about going in here to create our life. But that's what our people did. You know, in their time of struggle, they went away to be alone, to be in solitude, to be, so that they would be able to see from Squarestarget, their mind created solution would begin to appear with them in their life, to be able to see what it is or how they would, you know, be able to survive if they were in some kind of a predicament, you know. And so that was the ability that was given to us, you know. And so, that's why, when people, artists, when they when they're coming from their spiritual energy, it's a creation. That creative force is happening and it being put on the drawing or on the paper, or like for some of you who sew your own dancing outfit, it's your own energy. Your own creative energy is being put onto that, into your outfit. And so sometimes we forget we can do this to our life. We can create a beautiful design for our life. you know if we can create a beautiful dress, we can create a beautiful design for our life. you know and so somehow we have forgotten that. Young people have forgotten that. We that was part of the teachings a long time ago, was that the older people, you know they wanted them to grow. They wanted them to grow their creative energy. And so they encouraged them, to live their own, be their own individual. Don't ask someone else to tell you how to live your life. Find your own way to live your own life. you know and so you know so so that that when I was talking about the Acha, and so part of that is that in the south is that we point to the stars to say this is where we came from. Our origin comes from the stars, and so when our spirit passes away, the you know we remain here. Like part of the story is that our spirit before it makes the final journey is that we're here for 4 nights. Before we make the final journey, and so for us, that's why we do the wake ceremony for 4 nights, and then we do the settlement feast after. And then the final sharing of food, with our loved one, and they make their final journey, you know. And so, you know, and so there are, these stories. Then, they stay with us, and so the so that's the story about the direction, of the lodges, and also the elders facing in the ceremony when they're sitting down. They normally will want to know which way is north, so they can sit from the north, and they're facing south, and so the Tipi Poles, so you know the way that we count it, that we use 13 Tipi Poles inside the lodge, and so I, associated them with 13 moons inside the in the year. From there, we go with the uh, mixopism, skipism, bakepism, sakpagapism, pinowopism, pas, uh, the Pascawe hopism, pascopism, opahopism, nochistopism, kaskatnopism, the Icopiopism, Bawachigenesis, they go Kisipism. And so in this cycle, it continues in the circle. Where we are right now is that we're in the month of Icopiopism, like a foggy moon. Part of that is, that foggy moon is about the uncertainty in life. You know, we have a lot of people that pass away in a fall. The uncertainty. A long time ago, the older people, if so that they wouldn't be a burden to the family, would often walk into the bush. And they wouldn't be seen again because they didn't want to stay. If they could not help anymore, they didn't want to stay to be a burden to their family. So they wanted, it was the priority for the young family to survive. So Ikupiopishim, the foggy moon, it's time of uncertainty. We're going into the moon now of Pawachigenesis. Pawachigenesis speaks about the um, uh, it's cold and snow and drifting snow. Where there was still a lot of food and the height that people could use materially. So that was a time where they would visit and give each other gifts. And part of that also is that they knew that the days of the sun were getting shorter. That was the month when they had the shortest day of the year, and then and so the part of that celebration was the end of the year, but also the start of a new sun, Oskipism. And so people did the ceremony of the ceremony of the final days, but also the uh, a feast to welcome the new sun, Oskipism, the new cycle, you know. And so the next one, from there was uh, the Shipism, the cold moon. So people, talk, about, that was a time of the year when it was the coldest, but also it was a time of the year when people were doing the ceremony, a ceremony so that they would not freeze to death, a ceremony so that they would not starve to death. That's a time of the year when we do the ceremonies of what we call the trade dance, you know. But really, the trade dance we say is the I, Mahtaistoin. Mahtaistoin, literally means that I am tracking something. You're just like a hunter who's following a moose. You don't see the moose, but you're following the trail. In other words, you know that there's something there. And that's the concept of where, when you give something away, you're going to get something back. When you give something away with a good heart, you get something back, in a good way. And so people understood this concept a long time ago. So at this time of the year, they wanted to give away because what they were hoping to get back to them was to be able to find a way to survive that winter. The spiritual being that called, you know, when they do the ceremony, it's they're enticing the spiritual ceremony to find a way, to be able to survive, that winter moon, you know. And so that was their way of, so they gave, uh, you know, from themselves so that they would, hoping that what they would come back was that, that they would, find what it is that be able to, survive them, you know. So in the next moon, like is the, you know, uh, Mixopism, the bald eagle moon. You know, the bald eagle moon signifies the coming of the end of the winter, spring. So the bald eagle flies through these winter storms to bring a message that spring is coming. The eagle is the one that gets here first. He brings the message. When we see the eagle, we know that behind him coming the spring. And so, so the encouragement is that, be like the eagle, because the eagle, there is no turning back. The eagle is not going to turn back and say, no, the weather is no good. I'll wait till the weather is better. The eagle just flies through the whatever the weather is, whether it's storming, and sometimes some eagles don't survive. But the eagles, when they're determined, they'll find a way to come through. So in other words, they're coming through the mountains and they're bringing the message, that the spring is coming. So when we see the eagles in the spring, we know not far behind them are the skippies and uh, skuck, the geese. You know, the, the the geese bring food. The geese, just like for me, it's just like the women. They're noisy. They bring food. Yeah, and so it meant that the food was becoming more plentiful. And so when the ducks and geese are arriving, the food is arriving. It becomes a new cycle of food. You know, Following that is the Ayikbism, the frog moon. The frog moon. Then it's a time of the year when we hear the singing of the frogs. The frogs are, like the ground is frozen, and so when the sun is shining on the earth, it's thawing out. The energy of the sun is thawing out the energy of our Mother Earth. It's just like male and female interaction, and so the thawing out is means that things begin to grow, and so the singing of the frogs is telling us that the water is thawing out, that the ground is thawing out, that the grasses and all the plants are coming alive. You know, and so from there, the next one is the Sakpagao the leaf budding moon. That's the moon when and we usually gauge. That's when uh, we have the two in a Sundan ceremony. We have the two singing ceremonies happen in those two moons, and we skip, you know, the frog moon, and we go. The third singing ceremony happens, in the leaf budding moon when the leaves are, when the leaves are fresh, and so we move the ceremony outside. And then by that time, the snow is mostly all gone already. The ground is just alive now. And then from there, the next one is the Pinoel Pisum. You know, Pinoel Pisum is the lake egg egg laying moon. It's Pinoel. And then so that's part of the process of you know the with the birds and the geese. And then we arrive at the Pascawe Hopism. That's when that's the time of the year, the longest day of the year. That's when most certain sundown ceremonies that we have are held around that time of the year. So, so from the commitment that was made, in the new the Uskupishim, the new sun, people usually make their commitment of what they're going to do that year, and so it begins to show up throughout the year, and so the commitment is realized in the month of, the egg hatching moon. So in other words, for us, the realization of that commitment is that we built a lodge, the most important lodge in our ceremony, which is the Sundance Lodge. You know, everything leads up to that point, and then from there, when they do the ceremony, the next one, the next moon after that is the um, Pascopism, over here. So it's a time, it kind of represents a time when when all the urgent work has happened, when the ceremony has happened, then it's a time of renewal, resting, the letting go of things that you don't need anymore. You know, for the birds, they're shedding feathers that they're no longer useful. And so for us, it's also a time of letting go of things that that are no longer useful. Like sometimes she looks at me at this time of the year. He's no longer useful. I'm going to let him go. This old feathers, he says. so so that's it. A time of renewal, a time of change, and people, create a new wardrobe. Throw out the old duds.
New
Create.
boyfriend.
Yeah, yeah, and the young feather. Yeah, Because what happens, for the birds, it's a life or death situation. Because in this moon here, Opahopism is that it's a flying up moon. So in order for the birds to continue their life cycle, they need to fly from here, from this moon. If they're not flying, they're not surviving. In a way, it tells us also as human beings, if we don't do this work of renewal, if we don't do the work of letting go things that no longer serve us, we can't fly. We can't, you know, uh, too many uh, baggage just holds us back, you know, which is, it says a lot about our people a long time ago when they traveled. All they had was just a blanket and a rope and whatever they need for, hunting. They didn't carry suitcases, they didn't carry duffel bags, because they knew what they needed would be there in the land, and so when, they knew they could trust their own ability to find a way to survive. So in other words, when we carry all this baggage, we're not trusting the environment that we're going to survive. We're going to create our own, you know, we're going to take our own survival tool along, you know. Sometimes that, weighs us down so much that, we miss, so that was part of the thing that people had was that they trusted, this energy, they trusted this creative energy that they knew was there, that they would be able to find a way, to survive, you know. So the next one is the Nochistopism, hunting moon. You know, that's a moon of, when the animals are hunting each other, But it's also a time, it begins to signal a time for our people is that, you know, to, to begin to make the preparation, for the coming of the, the changing of the seasons. You know, there was a time when people would just, hunt and begin to stockpile, dried meat, robes, buffalo robes, moose hides, things like that. There was a time when they started to stockpile that because they were, going into a season. And it kind of, it, you know, my my grandmother, she used to say to the young people, the younger girls, that's the time of the year to find yourself a man, you know, in a way, because the way, like our communities were, like during the summer, we all came together, but coming towards the fall and winter, people began to disperse into the land. And so when they dispersed, then so they, some people, left together with, left their families, or joined another family. Part of that, is that, I found out much later is that because what they were saying was that we want your babies to be born in that time of the year. You know, they wanted the babies to be born in that time of the year of the, the Paskawe Hopism, in around that time, and so, for them to have the greater chance of survival, you and so the next one is the Kaskatnopism. Skatnopism is the leaf-changing moon. You know, the fall colors are coming. And it's also a signal. To kind of like a, the land looks beautiful. to it's just to sort of like to give a moment of thanks before the cold begins to happen. At that time of the year is also another time of the year of just doing the last ceremonies. That's when we do some of the you know some of the other ceremonies that happen, like the some of the ghost dance, and then the chicken dance, these other ceremonies, before we go into the winter season, you know. And so then we come back to the Ikopiupism, foggy moon, you know. And so, so that's, a cycle, my grandmother, she didn't read or write, but she gauged her year by where the moon was, in that particular time of the year. She knew, she knew events by, you know, where the moon was, in that time of the year. So I'm gonna stop there, and then we're gonna have a little bio break. Before that, if there's any questions or just something that you'd like to offer, or maybe.
On the 13 moon, what if that's on the change to the sundown, 13 moon?
The 13 moons.
Yeah, on the 13th moon of the year.
The 13th moon of the year.
13 moons of the year, calendar year.
Yeah.
So on the 13th moon, is that the change into when you move into the new year to the sundown?
I'm not sure.
It's like Popier and Ayan in February is a new year.
Okay. Yeah, over here is our new year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the acknowledgement of the Otskipism, the new sun, you know, that's for us, that's our new year. You know, that's a new ceremonial, that's the start of the ceremonial season over there in February in the Bishropism, you know. And so, so for us, like we, they knew, we're right now we're coming into the, the in the next moon is going to be the Bawa Chigenesis, that's that one over there, yeah, and so, oh, no, that one over there, yeah, and so the and so that was the 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 shortest day of the year, and then the beginning of the new beginning of the where the days start getting longer, you know. So they call it Oskipism, and so that's where they did the they did the ceremony of giving each other gifts, to celebrate like the new the new year sort of thing. In January they call it January 1st. They call it um, yeah. Uh, yeah, the New Year's Day, they call it um, uche, uh, uche toh pism. It's just like the kissing year. I mean, the kissing day. I remember my grandmother used to chase us all around just to see who kiss us, and then, you know. Well, let's have a little break. And
Does
oh, wait.
the women's
Yeah, yeah. It's, you have to move that Or you putting the teaching?
No, we'll finish the circle and then we'll move it out of the way.
So I was just wondering because they call women moon tan. I wonder if that. I was just asking, does that relate anything to the moons as well?
You know, eu, uh, see, we call the moon Kokumno, Yokumsut. You know, that's what they say. You know, so that I think that refers to the moon. You know, like it refers to the moon as a sort of a like a feminine energy. You know, because in the moon of the you know the frog moon is that it clearly defines it as the sun. You know, has a male energy and it's a female energy of exchange. You know, the energy of the sun thawing out you know the ground. You know, so yeah, that's one of the reasons why you know we say Eo comes. You know, in other words, she has her grandmother. You know.
All right, guys, we're gonna have a little bit of a break time. Hopefully that you guys got some good value from that, and then we're gonna be setting up the teepee. And as we set up the teepee, we're gonna be kind of giving more information about the teepee knowledge itself. So I see a lot of comments coming in that they learn so much, and which is awesome. Thank you for the knowledge. You know, we need this today. Thank you for teaching us. So awesome. Awesome. And this is an elder speaking, so the volume, I can't really control too much. Because of social distances, we don't want to kind of hold the pass the mic around and have them hold it. So hopefully that's okay with you guys. Just to kind of we will have a separate interview with him that we could actually post with some awesome sound. But just thank you guys for tuning in right now. We're gonna go into a little bit of a break with our elder, so the elder could have some water and a little bit of a break time, and then we're gonna set up the teepee, kind of right where you see this chair right in the middle here, and kind of get in with those teachings. So for those of you guys that are tuning in, we have Elder John Crier here today, and he was talking about kind of the different moons that each pole kind of represents, the different directions, why we have the teepee facing the south, the door of it. And so hopefully you guys are enjoying this teaching here today. We're really happy that you're here with us. So bear with us. We're gonna have a little bio break, and then we're gonna get on to setting up we have a smaller teepee here today, just not one of those big guys. But another thing is like it's really let us know if you guys kind of have a family teepee. Do you set that up in outside your house, or in the winter time do you go in there? Let us know in the replies, in the comments. This is kind of one of the things that I really liked him saying, was like the creator energy is within us all, and that we are all part of that, and we are all creators. And then the same way we create art and power outfits and beautiful things, that we could do the same thing with our lives and create that a beautiful life for ourselves. And that's kind of one things that I took away from this teachings today. So, and I know we're just gonna kind of lead into a lot more. So bear with us, give us a little bit of a break here, maybe about a few minutes, and then we'll come back and have some more teachings for you guys.
This is amazing. I just maybe a couple of years ago, I found some stories of my grandpa who was like, I never met him. He's born the same day, but literally 100 years ago. Yeah. So he's in 1888, I'm 1988, and we're born the same. His name was Anton Volmer. I don't know how to say his, but his name was Lonesome, or he seems alone. And then when the agent gave him his name, his family was named it Lonesome. But he was born in 2002, and that's how I figured out that I was. So all this, when you keep saying it, I'm like,
Right on, guys. We're just getting set up here, getting it ready to go with the TP teachings. Carry on. This is, I guess, would be like kind of like part 2 of it. So thanks for tuning in. Thank you guys for being on here. It is gonna be a kind of a longer video, but we're so excited that you're here with us. If you could like and share this post, that'd be very, very wonderful, and we'd be much appreciated. Took a while to kind of get this going for you guys. Not too many elders are comfortable traveling, and so we're happy we have John here to come in and travel almost an hour to be here with you guys and to share this knowledge with you guys. So kind of what we ask in return, all we ask maybe is just send that love energy to our elder, and also give us a like and a share. That's like the online kind of love, and it's good if this message reaches as much people as we could. I think a lot of people are in need of this type of information, so thank you guys.
with the structure guy, and so normally what we do is we pick three.
So we're looking for 3 Tipi poles that are the strongest.
Selecting the Tipi poles and then also putting them together and tying them together. Okay, so 3 sturdy looking Tipi poles from there. Yeah, yeah, and then bring them here. Yeah, yeah, and then bring them over here. Yeah.
So I hear like the teepee was like a woman's job to put up. Is that true? Or?
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was. It was their. That was their work. The covering, because they're the ones that made the covers.
Okay.
So they put them together.
So we just have the ladies here. They're getting the poles ready. They're looking for the 3 kind of sturdiest poles for the foundation. Did they let's say when a tribe was moving camp, did they just like did they take the poles or did they have it in there that everything they need will be where they are?
Depending where they were, like if they were out in the open, there were no poles. They would take them along. But if they were going from place to place in the bush, then they would take what they knew that they would have TP poles over. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So.
So 2 are going straight across, and then the third one is going on top of them. Trying to get a better look for you guys, so you guys could see the process. Marissa, you need to plug in for this ASAP. Yeah. So just marking out the length of that string from the beginning of it, and then a little bit of space from the top part of that teepee. So so this pole right here is the door pole he was explaining, and he just makes it a little shorter at the marking right here, a little shorter. And you kind of he's marking them with a pen. I guess you would use whatever marking that you could use for that. So he's gonna show you the tying technique of the top part. Yeah. So he's putting the door pole underneath. Sorry about the view, guys, but Dean, like, can we get the? No, you can come a little closer. Man. It's hard to get the angle. Kind of. Well, the cord's so short. Hopefully, you guys could see that. I might have to. This, if you guys push kind of that. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Thank you.
So, you know, so what they used to do was they would wet this whole area, okay? And so right now, when you're tying, and so go ahead and finish tying, and then the and then you just what you want to do is you just want to make them snug because they'll tighten up when you stand it up. Yeah, not too tight. Yeah, yeah, because I've seen them break. You know, some poles will break if you tie them really tight and then you spread them out. Okay, here's where you want to end. Okay, so run that through. And then, yeah, yeah, and then this one, this one here is, this end here is what you're going to use to wrap all the poles together after, so, okay, so uh, we'll unravel that. Maybe this is a little too much here. I'll loosen this off. I'll make it shorter.
So this one here is your door, eh?
Yeah, that's the door pole. Yeah. Okay, we don't really need that much, that long. Okay.
Lynn has some kisses to
Okay. So these two together. Okay. And then this one is, where is it marked? We had it marked here somewhere. Right here. So we're okay right there.
Is there a rule of thumb of how where you tie this? I guess you probably might have already.
Yeah, we measured it.
Oh, you measured it
Yeah.
based on the canvas, right?
On the canvas,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Just these two.
Yeah. You tie these two together first.
I have to tie it?
No, this one here, yeah, you're going to use this one.
Oh, to wrap around the whole
Yeah,
thing.
just, okay, right there. Now you get, okay. Okay, now hold that. Okay, and then you use this one to tie it. Yeah, you don't have to hang on to them. You already got.
Do I go through anywhere or just this is?
Well, yeah. So you don't want this one slipping, so you almost have to wrap it by itself.
Got that out, John?
Yeah. This one here, like you almost have to wrap it by itself.
So should I go back up this way?
Let's see.
So right now we're wrapping the three poles. The one at the bottom pole is the door pole, and so this is kind of showing that method of where to wrap it and how to wrap it. So hopefully you guys could see. I'm just gonna check the camera. Oh, there you go. I got a good view on it. Yeah, it's not a people job. It's just like they're all learning for the first time here. Some of them the first time. So, but it is a smaller teepee. I think it's like a little 8-foot teepee or 10-foot teepee. So all these are they're learning for the first time putting up a teepee. So hopefully you guys are seeing that pretty good. That's a Girl Scout out right there. Just like when you're tying off your thread. There we go.
Now, normally these are about 25 feet, 30 feet. So, uh, so this person with the rope will stand on this side.
So I'm just gonna back up the camera so you guys see. Just a little small teepee.
Put on there. Okay, right there. Because when they stand it up, so it doesn't slide. Okay. So someone else put their foot on here.
And same thing, just make it.
Yeah, just one would be good.
Oh,
Okay. So
So they're kind of all working together to pull this up, lift it up, and following the pole. Usually, if they're really tall poles, then the girls have their feet at the bottom to lift it up, and then they start spreading the poles out.
yeah, you see how where you're going to put your poles. So here's another way to do it. Let's see. Let's just bring these together. Okay, change this. Okay, change it. Yeah. Okay. So now it changes, eh? You know. So now instead of putting the poles in the back, we put them in the front. So be really mindful when you tie them, so that you know which poles are going to go. You know. Okay. So
Is this on the door?
door.
So we turn this
Now
way?
we got.
So we're turning the teepee just so we could have it the doorway facing the south. And usually you kind of would already have that set up so you wouldn't have to turn the poles around. How do you gauge what distance they should be? Just by looking?
Just by looking after, when you've done the Tipi Poles,
Yeah.
you kind of you know your you know your
The distance usually, yeah.
your Tipi.
So he basically said by, after putting up a lot of teepees, you kind of know by kind of experience how far those poles should be apart.
You stand on that side so they don't slide out. Okay, you stand on that side, so you just hold that. Yeah, just so it doesn't slide out. Okay, girls. So one at a time, bring the Tipi Poles.
So we're kind of just stacking the poles. So we're going kind of four of those poles in between the first three. What happens if you add steel sticks? They have some of that on what do you call that? Statues and things like that. Medicine Hat, they have steel poles for the world's largest teepee. I think it's in Medicine Hat area. So we did 4 and the 1, 3 and the 1, 2 here. So we're just tightening up the top. Oh, it is a slippery floor as well. All right. Watch the cord there, sorry.
Okay. We'll just stand by the door there. Put your foot on the door.
So now we're adding the pole to the canvas, and it's going to come near the door pole that is facing south. Do we have a cute little teepee that we're setting up here today? Oh, that's pretty cool. So send a like if you like what you're seeing here. Maybe this is the first time that you're seeing a teepee. set up, or maybe you come from a tribe or your family tribe there that puts up teepees all the time, and it's just good to see this being taught. Give us a like. Let us know where you're coming, where you're watching in from, and kind of. I know each tribe has different teepee teachings, different little lessons and stories about their teepees. So one of our guys is gonna get something for the teepees because we are on a slippery surface, so that the teepee poles kind of slide around a little bit. Simon watching from the UK. How's it going, Simon? Hey, Simon, is there any teepees in the UK? Let me know. I know, obviously not like, but like just from tribes that went there and did shows and things like that. Maybe they kept some of the teepees, you know. Yeah, this is a small teepee. We're just kind of doing it. The full size teepees, you're looking at like 20 foot, 23 foot, right up there. So hello from New Orleans. I'm from a town edge of Chitamacha Reservation, but I'm in New Orleans now. Beautiful. I got to go to New Orleans for the jazz festival. I was there with Northern Cree, and we went and danced at the indigenous village at the jazz festival. So it's really really cool to go to New Orleans and walk down those different streets that you have, them where Mardi Gras was and things like that. It was pretty cool. Um, whoops, poles. Yeah, that's right. We're on a slippery surface here, so those poles are a little slippery on the bases. So you can imagine, they set up teepees on the land and not, and they would kind of wouldn't slip around on the dirt. So it says, and is there enough air ventilation for the poles to allow for smoke to escape? Well, usually, if you've ever been in a teepee, the kind of smoke comes out of the top part, and they'll open up those flaps. There'll be some flaps up top, and all the smoke would actually come out of the top. Oh yeah, he just answered the question. He said they use teepees for alternate venues for banquets, etc. You're a friend of Steve and Joel Wood. Yes, Steve, Joel Wood, good friends of mine. Here's John Crier from the same reserve in Muscatries where they are right now. So pretty cool. Watching from New Denver, BC, Cree Soto, and I'm learning my culture again. Thanks for sharing. That's so awesome. That's what we want to do here with Red Deer Aboriginal Dance Troupe and Powwow Times, is basically help spread the culture, help. Maybe this, will be a footstep, a doorway for those who are wanting to learn their culture again. But the girls over there in the corner, they're just tying the canvas pole now so they can raise it up onto the teepee. Hello, I'm from Calgary. Elder John is the best. Hey Cheryl, thanks for tuning in. He is amazing. There's a lot of good teachings that he's leaving us here today, which is totally amazing. Sending love from the Wind River Reservation. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in, Donnie Young. Thank you so much. We got Tinglet Alaskan here in Alaska. Sweet. I'd love to go and learn some teachings up there to our brothers and sisters up in Alaska. But now they're bringing in the pole for the canvas, and looks like they're starting from the north side, so the other side of where the door is. So come back in there, see if I can get some more of that teachings there for you guys here today.
So start from the top. Yeah, start from the top. Yeah. Okay. And then normally, like you'll have a place you can see it right there. That's where the pole's gonna go. So okay, right, right there. Okay. So and then you go this way with this, and somebody go that way.
Sweet. So now they're kind of getting the canvas kind of wrapped around the poles. Um, all right. And so now they're kind of getting the pins ready for the doorway. I'm going to see if I could get around here with the rest of this. You guys a good view for the front. Too much stuff in here, but okay. I know. Sorry, guys. Just trying to get you a better camera angle here for you. He was saying usually you would start from the top, pinning this TP, but because of the flooring and how small the TP is, they're starting from the bottom to pin it. So now there's holes kind of created in the doorway, and then that's kind of where the pins will connect it. So the canvas is pretty much hugging the teepee. And then after, you're gonna spread the poles out so you kind of get a nice tight fitting teepee after. Okay. So inside, she's tying the string that was tying the poles. He's tying it to one of the tripods inside. So now they're just, again, just putting in the pins, top to bottom. There's a wonderful education place called, I believe, the Native Heritage Center, Central Alaska. There is also a great place in Plymouth Plantation, MI, for Native culture. So good, so cool, right on. There's places for the teachings to basically keep going. Watching from Amarillo, Texas. So glad to see that you're still teaching this. Love watching this. Hey, thanks, Waylon. Thank you for tuning in. Simon Green. This is, I am what is referred to as Agasiwak. Those that blew from across in Cree. Agasiwak. I think that's how you say that. Thank you. New Mexico, thank you for being in the house. Charlotte Sousa. Thanks, guys.
I'm gonna push the poles out.
Okay,
I thought Dean Scopios
just kind
would
of stand
be
by
in
the poles, everybody.
So now you go inside the teepee and we're pushing the teepee poles out. We don't have pins to kind of hold it into the ground. So it's kind of a little difficult to do it on a nice smooth surface. And bear in mind, these are all like some of these are first time teepee setter uppers. I know difficult to set these smaller teepees on a smooth surface here, but they're getting it all set up, the base. There we go. We got some carpet coming in, some carpet to help out with that, the sliding of the poles. And also, kind of the top is loosening up there from these smaller pole teepees. All right, there we go. Now we got that base. It's a lot easier to do it on the land where the dirt and everything kind of holds it all in place. So we got a little bit of carpet kind of just going on the base now. Anyway, let's go back in the comments to see if anyone's chatting with us here today. We got people from Cedar Rapids. Cedar Rapids, thanks for the knowledge. Thank you. What's the Hey Simon, they wanted to know the translation. I think he already did the translation. What it meant to say that word. Those that blew from across in Crier. I think that's what it says. Place the chair leg in the loops. Yeah, right. We need you here, kind of telling us, Simon. It'd be a lot easier for those poles. There we go. I guess we should have kind of put that into play here. There we go. A lot more sturdy there now. There we go. Setting it, kind of tightening up the top part. Some good TV knowledge. I think it's the soup we ate before this that having some technical difficulties with that. This is what you call team building, they said. Getting it going. So here we go. Hopefully everyone's doing good today on a Saturday. It's a beautiful day. But so good to be doing things like this during COVID, during a pandemic. There we go. There we go. There we go. See, you got to make sure when you're connecting it, that top part is nice and tight. So now it's getting to be really good because they were kind of sliding at the top part where the string is. So now it's good. And so the guy on the inside, basically, that job would be to spread those poles out pretty good to make it nice and strong. You know, I heard that these teepees too, they withstood, like strong winds and storms and things like that. So there's our teepee. It's kind of looking like a teepee now, which is good. Some of the teachings that I've heard, that this would represent like the mother's dress, right? And kind of the mother reaching up to the sky with the poles up top, and also like the eagle kind of landing at top as well. And then each family and each tribe, they would paint their designs on a teepee. And I heard like some teachings long ago that they would, if a teepee had no markings on it, that it was almost open for a family to get the teepee, and it's almost like they're allowed to take it if they didn't have their family markings on the teepee or the tribe markings on the teepee. So now you have the two other poles that will come in, and those will be for the flaps, and you kind of control weather with that, control the wind, and kind of open it up and close it up for rainy days and for fires inside, things like that. So for those of you, actually, the guy here in front of us with the hat, his name is Dean Johnson. He sells teepees and stuff like that. So maybe if you want a teepee for yourself, if you want a teepee for yourself, just message us on Facebook. Maybe we could figure out, a teepee for your school, a teepee for your community, or anything like that. So there's our teepee. We got it up. A little technical difficulties, but we got there, right? That was the main thing, is that we got to where we needed to get to. Look at Isa. He's saying, imagine putting solar panels on there, right? We got Diane Gardapi saying you can also use cupboard liner to hold the poles in place. See, that's a tobacco lesson right there. So you're getting some tobacco teachings right there. How many sticks do they put on the teepee above the entryway? And there's no reason why they use that many or not. So in the beginning, he talked about the 13 moons that we go through, and you have the 13 poles in the inside. And then the 2 for the flaps. Hopefully that was it. Hopefully that answered the question. But I guess when we publish this, you could kind of rewind, I guess, and go back and kind of hear the elder. I love hearing the ladies and laughter. That's so awesome, right? Women, a lot of knowledge and patience. It's totally true. So good to hear the laughter people are saying. That's awesome. So everyone's taking a picture now. So beautiful. Thanks for the teachings. Congratulations, they got it up. All right. Plains Creek TP entrances faces east to greet the rising sun. Oh, I like that. I like that. I like how like there's teachings kind of everywhere about TPs. So there's our TP guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and kind of what it's about. We are gonna get an interview as well, and then John's gonna talk a little bit more about the TP in that video that we'll post a little bit later. And then hopefully you guys like this video. So with that, I just want to say thank you, hi, for watching, for tuning in. And hopefully you guys got some value here today from the elder that we had, Red Deer Aboriginal Dance Troupe, FCSS Red Deer. Thank you guys so much for making this video possible. And thank you guys.